Hello everyone, this is Rebecca with Making with Bacon and Quick Quotes. I wanted to share a project today with you that I did as an alternate with your Club Q kit this past month. And they did an accordion album in theirs, and I chose to use my parts and pieces to make this squash album that is perfect for holding photos, or you could put in some journaling and make it into a very elaborate card for somebody that is special to you. I used all of the parts and pieces that pattern paper that came with the kit. However, all I did was add a couple of pieces of chipboard for my covers and 3 pieces of cardstock. And let me show you quickly how we did that. We're going to begin with 3 pieces of cardstock that are cut to an 8x8 square. We are going to take our scoring tool and put it in, and we're going to score at 4 inches, twist and turn, and again at 4 inches. And then next what we're going to do is we're going to take and fold on those scored edges, and we're going to give a nice good burnish. We are going to then fold on the opposite one. Make sure that your edges are lined up, and we're going to give a good burnish. Then we're going to open that up, and we're going to fold it point to point, just like so, and then give it a good burnish with our scoring tool. And then when you open it, these little squares that have the score in the center are going to get folded in, and then you'll close it, and then you're going to score or burnish, excuse me, your piece. And you were going to do that to all 3 pieces of your cardstock. And I will do the remaining 2, and we'll get ready to assemble. Once you have your cardstock all folded and scored, what you're going to do is you're going to take and make sure that your piece is, the score line is from top to bottom on all 3 of them, and they will form like a diamond shape. I like to take the center one and attach your favorite adhesive. I am just using score tape for right now. Liquid adhesive would work just as well. And I am just going around the perimeter of the piece just to get good tape coverage. When it comes to the folded score line, I'm going just slightly below it. You do not want to go over it. Oops. And then finally on this last one. And then I like to put one right in the center just for good measure. Then we're going to bring back in our other 2 pieces, and we will take the tape backing off of one of our pieces. And with, again, the score line going up and down, you are going to take the piece that has the adhesive on the back, and just slightly under the score lines you are going to attach and give a good burnish. And then I would repeat the same process, removing that and attaching it just in the same manner to the 3rd piece. When you have that all together, your piece will look like this. And what you will do is you're going to take and fold in this side, and you're going to take and fold in this side, and then these pieces will be folded inward and down, and then that is how your piece will close, and it will open and shut to give you that squash effect. Now the next thing that we will do is we will add adhesive to the outer edges, or the outside sides. That's what's gonna attach our cover, and that is what I would like you to do next. Now next what we're going to do is the covers, and like I mentioned, I just had a couple of scrap pieces of chipboard in my stash. You could use cereal boxes that are glued together and then cut. I have cut 2 of them at 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, and 2 black pieces of cardstock at 5 1/2 by 5 1/2. This black piece of cardstock, you most certainly you are going to use one of the sheets that is in your Club Q kit to cut that decorative edge, or decorative cover, I mean, and that's what I did here. I didn't use I'm just using black cardstock for demonstration purposes, but I did use the one of the 12 by 12 sheets that was in your kit. And what I did was I just attached the chipboard with an adhesive. In this case I used a 3-in-1, and then I just eyeballed it and stuck it into the center. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to add adhesive all the way around the chipboard piece, and I actually think I'm going to switch out and do a 1/2 inch size score tape. Once again, the adhesive is of your choice, and I'm just going to go around the entire piece. Just like so. And then I'm going to give a good burnish so that we have good adhesion. And then next what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little mitering tool. This kind is measures how thick your chipboard is to give you a good mitered corner. I normally use a standard 1/4 inch, but I think I am going to go just a little thinner this time around, and I'm going to attach or lay that over the corner. It gives you the distance between the edge of the chipboard and to the edge of the tool, and then you're just going to make a cut. Nope, I didn't go quite deep enough. And there's a lot of different ways to make a mitered edge. You can do it with just a ruler and a pencil and scissors. This just works easier for me, and it's quicker. And don't throw those pieces away. I used them as photo corners in my mini album. I will show you here. I used them as photo corners right on some of the photos. You have to cut, you'll end up with 4 pieces for the front and back cover, and I used 2 on each of my layout, or each of my photos. Now I'm going to work this edge just like this, and this is just breaking up the paper fibers, getting it ready, or trained, if you will, to wrap around the chipboard. Then I'm just going to remove my tape backing, and I'm going to fold that over. I'll burnish here in just a moment. I'm going to get all of this tape off. And with these corners, I like to tuck those in using the opposite side of my bone folder. You can also use just your fingernail. And then what we'll do is fold over the opposite side and do the same thing. And then we're going to fold that piece over and give it a good burnish. And that little tip goes back in there. So you want to make sure to have good tape coverage. And then once again, we are going to fold that over. And that becomes your chipboard cover piece. You're going to do the exact same thing for the second one, and you will have two for your front and back. You'll then remove the tape backing off of one side, and because your chipboard or the album will open, you kind of want to have these little points, or the open edge, if you will, looking up at you. And you would remove the tape backing and then just simply line it up. I eyeball things. I don't like to measure all the time unless I have to, and stick it down. Now on the very back side, this is where you're going to attach whatever ribbon you would like. After removing the tape, you're going to place your ribbon down in the center, and I like to give myself a little extra in case somebody has a little bit of a difficulty tying bows. And I don't, a lot of people don't like to tie tiny, tiny bows. So you would place that in the center before you attach your chipboard cover. And when you finish with that, your album should look something like this. And once again, you have those open sides, and it will squash open and close. Just a little hint, this is what I like to do when I tie a bow. I like to crisscross applesauce and tie it as you normally would. Then I take and flip these and pull tight. And then I wrap and tie. And that way you usually get a nice little straight bow each time. And then it would be on to embellishing your cover. And when we look at the final project that I created with the Club Q, I used their chipboard daisy piece that came with a laser cut daisy, and then the brad. You always get lots and lots of pearls and rhinestones in your kit, and I just attached a small one right there. This is a Want to Scrapbook flourish that I had in my stash. And like I said, you have a lot of paper that comes into your kits every month. These little squares, one set was cut from the 12 by 12 you received. The other pieces, you received a 3.5 by 10.5 inch strip and a 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 strip. 3.5 by 3.5, sorry. And all I did is I took those and cut the strip, the 10.5 inch strip down to 3.5 by 3.5, and then I cut it on its diagonal, and those matched perfectly on my little triangle parts. Then the other 12 by 12 that was in the kit I used as a map behind the photos. And I was even able to attach a photo that had a little bit of space in between, and I wasn't going to cut my son out of the photo, so I just also cut the photo in half and was able to attach it there. But you could also do that with any of the pieces, and you could further embellish it with any other embellishments that you have. So once again, you're not limited to what you create with your Club Q. Just adding a little touch of something from your stash, as in this case 2 pieces of chipboard and 3 pieces of 8 by 8 cardstock, and you can come up with a great little brag book like I have done for you today. I had lots of little parts and pieces left over from my kit, just with the accordion album kit. And what I chose to do in this case is to create a card. And I actually had a few little pieces of die cuts that were laying on my desk from another layout that I had done, and it actually, I believe, is a Tim Holtz die. And I took one of the strips that was left over after I cut down my cardstock to map my photo. I used a punch and punched out some daisies. And this actual background was created by using the chipboard piece that came in your kit. And I used it as a stencil and pushed it in with makeup sponge with the chalk ink. And I did that in a couple of different spots and created this card, which is, like really a lot of fun to do, because isn't it all about the scraps? And I still have these pieces left, so I can go ahead and create at least 2 more cards out of the scraps here, and maybe grab something from my stash in the form of a sentiment or a die cut, and be able to create a couple more to have in my card stash as well. The other thing I wanted to show you is that I did use that stencil to use on my layout as well for this month's Club Q, and I just simply took it already to the beautiful paper that came in your kit, and I just added it into a couple of different spots, and again used a makeup sponge to push that into the chipboard piece, and used it as a stencil. That's kind of hard to say. I also created this layout as well with your Club Q, which is vastly different than the one that they sent instructions for you to create. So once again, you're not limited to what you create. You can choose to make it in your own style. I took the banner pieces and made a title for my page layout. So once again, you're not limited to anything, but the paper is gorgeous. There's so much that you can do with it. So don't be afraid to mix and match things with your Club Q kit. Thanks so much for watching.